came out, that's pretty much all we're about now is smartphone. Oh, we have another. we have another propeller hat. All right.
Too cool.
And we have been on the road since 2003. Now so for 14 years, our only home was a motor home, and we toured around the country. We ended up making a website called Geeks On Tour, and we gave seminars at RV rallies and computer clubs all around the country. And in 2017, we downsized to a very little RV, and we have a townhouse right back where we used to live in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So we are coming to you tonight from our house in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. But I just need you to see a little bit of what. So we are, he's Jim and I'm Chris, and we are Geeks on Tour. Nothing to do with Geek Squad, okay? Geek Squad is Best Buy. Geeks on Tour is just the two of us. And we, in most years, not this year, but in most years, we are traveling all over the country, and we are booked to speak at RV rallies, computer clubs, senior centers, all over the country. Okay. This presentation is about making custom maps. Google Maps versus Google My Maps. So Google My Maps is what I'm going to be teaching you about tonight. Most people have never heard of it, but they know what Google Maps is. So Google Maps is if you're using a computer web browser and you go to maps.google.com, you'll see something like this. And what can you do here? You can search for places, you can get information, and you can get directions. You can also use Google Maps on a mobile device, and you can do the same thing. You can search for places, you can get directions, and you can even navigate with a mobile device. So that is Google Maps. Everything on there is there from Google. Google My Maps is a place to make and keep files that are your custom maps. So this is just a screenshot of my Google My Maps. And we make lots of maps, at least one for every year that we've been on the road. Now, My Maps, you need a web browser. There is an app. There is a My Maps app for Android. There is none for iOS. There is a My Maps app for Android, but it's very limited. The things that I'm going to teach you tonight, you need to be on a computer web browser and go to mymaps.google.com. So the underlying map of My Maps comes from Google. So everything that you have, all the information from Google Maps, all the roads, all the towns, all the businesses are available to you to make your own map. But the markers are all added by you. So before we started, I did ask, but some more people have showed up. I'm just curious, has anybody here used Google My Maps? Has anybody made a map with Google My Maps? Oops. And sorry, I just threw in, I can't see everybody. So Don, tell me, is anybody saying yes?
I don't hear anybody responding.
Okay. Well, like I say, that's what, oh, it looks like, oh no, that's your hand up. Okay. All right. Well, this will be something new. And if you travel, I think you will love this, but even if you don't, there are other reasons to make a map. So making your own map means figuring out what you want to put on the map, gathering your location information. Then you add a marker to each spot on the map that you want to mark. And you can change the colors and icons to make your markers stand out. And just to get the intro of it, I have a little video here. And this is typical of the videos that you'll find on our geeksontour.com website.
Hi, this is Crystal with Geeks on Tour, and this tutorial video is about making your own map. When you're researching places to go and places where you can stay nearby, do you use a lot of maps like we do? I use Google Maps, Our Village, Allstays, RV Parky, and Road Trippers. I want to collect my information all in one map. So in Google Maps, I have saved the club locations where we are booked to speak. We're in Chicago area right now, and here are the 2 places that we need to be this week. Allstays is my go-to site for finding county parks and other good overnight parking for RVs, but on this map, I can't see where our gigs are. Our Village is great for looking up Elks Lodges. We like parking at Elks Lodges as we travel. So my solution is to make my own map where I can put everything in. I use Google My Maps. I can make the markers custom, set the colors, and save my map. Let me show you how. Step 1 is to go to mymaps.google.com and make sure you are logged in with your account. If you've ever made any other maps, you will see them here. We're going to create a new map. It's good to give your map a title way. First, I want to put in the places that we need to be. And I know that the first one is Glenside Public Library. I can search for it using Google My Maps. It will find it. And I could just add this marker to map, but I don't want to mark the Glenside Public Library. I want a marker that says the name of the computer club we'll be visiting. So I click on Add a Marker. I click right on the public library and then give it a name. And I save that marker. Now I can search for the next place. Naperville City Hall. Add my own marker and give it a name. Now, I don't like that it just has this blue teardrop standard marker. I want it to stand out more. So over here in the left side panel, I can click the little paint can. I can make that be, I think I want it just to be a black marker. And I can choose an icon from the list here. I want it to look like a meeting. I'm going to choose these 3 stars and OK. And I want this other one to look the same. Next, I want to add the campgrounds that I found that look like possibilities. I can search for the name of the campground that I found. In this case, I can just add the Google marker. I want the website and the phone number, so I'll just click Add to Map. But now look over here on the left. That campground has been added to the same layer as our gigs, and it's really a different layer. I'll show you. Instead of untitled, I'm going to call this layer gigs. Now I want a new layer for places to stay. Add layer, places to stay. Now, this Blackwell family campground really belongs in this other layer. I can drag that down. It's a little bit tricky. You got to make sure to get a hold of it, and then you can drag it down to the other layer. And let me change that icon so it looks like a campground. We'll make it green. and a tent. Now let's add an Elks Lodge. I can search for Elks Lodge 2254, which is what I found in my other map. But this is another case where I don't want to use the marker that came from Google. I don't want the details from Google. I want to put my own details. So add a marker, click here, give it a name, and I can add notes and even a link from the source that I got the information on this Elks Lodge. I want a custom icon for that. So I click the little paint bucket and I'm going to make this one purple, and I want an icon that maybe looks like an elk. How about a deer? Close enough. Now, in one glance, I'm just zooming out by using my scroll wheel. In one glance, I can see where we need to be, where the campground is, and where the Elks Lodge is. And now it's clear that this campground is the closest place to go. Two more things to show you about Google My Maps. One is that you can change the underlying map, the base map. See how it's still kind of hard to see my markers on here because of the way this map is. If I click on base map, I can choose a lighter, simpler base map so that my markers really stand out. The second thing to show you is, why did I insist on having 2 layers? Well, sometimes I just want to see where we need to be, not about our choices of where to stay. You just uncheck the box for one layer and it disappears. Check it or uncheck it to make it appear or disappear. Very handy, especially when you end up with lots of markers. And that's how you make your own map using My Maps. From now on, any map you've created will be in mymaps.google.com as long as you're logged into your account. There's the map that I just...
Me.
I like to pause for a second here and see if there are any questions. I see one in the chat from Paul Baker. How many layers can you use? 10. It's 10 layers. You have like, I think it's 2,000 markers per layer, unless it's a point-to-point directions layer, and then use only 10. But the answer to your question is 10 layers. Anybody else? Yeah, but that was a great question. It's important to note you can make markers, and markers can be in layers. You can also make lines, but for most of what I do, I don't need the lines. I just want the places.
Can you import this
Okay.
into like Apple CarPlay or Android Auto?
Can you import this into like Apple CarPlay? I will show you that. Yes,
Okay.
you can. I mean, what you can do, your My Map can be brought in to Google Maps as a layer of data, different kind of layer than what I was a layer of data on top of Google Maps. So you bring Google Maps into CarPlay, and in your Google Maps, you import your My Map. Now everything that is in My Map is on your Google Map, and you can navigate that way. And I will show you that just on a phone at the end.
If we ever get to the end.
Okay.
Let's say I'm going to visit a city for sightseeing, Chicago, New York, whatever, and I want to plan my day to visit several key places around the city or around the area, and I make one of these maps. Can I also add arrows that suggest which place I'm going to visit first and in succession, so I can just follow my arrows around the map and complete all my events or my sightings, etc.?
Yes.
Okay.
There is not actually an arrow, but there are lines, and your place marks can be numbered.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the way I do it. I
Okay.
just make each place mark be 1, 2, 3, 4, etc.
All right.
So
That's good.
yes,
That's cool.
How about routing between points of interest?
routing between points of interest.
That was a question in the,
Oh, routing between points of interest. I think, do you mean will Google My Maps calculate the most efficient route? Because there are some programs that will do that. This does not. This does not calculate the most efficient route, but routing between points of interest, yes, you can draw lines along roads, or as I do, you can just number your markers.
Cool.
Okay, back to slideshow. So our main use for this is our travel maps. At the beginning of each year, I create a My Map of the places that we think we're going to go. Then as the year progresses, I use that same My Map and make sure that the places we did actually go are on the map. The ones that we didn't go to, I delete. And the ones that we did, I add more comments. I add a link to our blog post about it. I add photos. And we have one of these maps for every year that we were on the road, which is 16 now. And I want to show you that. So that's all on our blog. Another thing that I love teaching people how to do is how to make blogs. So it's geeksontour.blogspot.com is our blog. And it's a normal blog, which has all sorts of stories and dated entries. But if you look at the menu at the top, you'll see one that says Our Maps. I click on Our Maps. Notice there is not one for 2020. We didn't go anywhere.
Nobody did.
as I think you understand. But there's 2019. We did so much in 2019 that I broke it into two, a part one and a part two. There's 2018, 2017, 2016, etc. So notice on 2015, I'm going to click on 2015. This is just a screenshot on this blog page. But if I click on it, it will take me to the live map. And I just want to show you. So this is the live map. On the left is the legend of every place. So if I see Mayberry Campground, if I click on that on the legend, it takes me to that spot in the map, and it opens up whatever pictures I had from there. If I back out, I can see all my markers. And for example, here is a marker of a place we stayed. It looks like we're on the coast there. So I'm going to click on it and see if there's any pictures. Yep, Malibu Beach RV Park. And it says that there are 3 photos there. If I click where it says 3 photos, I can see. Do you see why we like RVing? I mean, is that amazing or what? We're overlooking the Pacific Ocean here. Anyway, so I think this is a wonderful way to record your travels. On one screen, you can get the overview of where we went, and at anything you're interested in, you can click on it and find out lots more, including, in this case, I apparently have a YouTube video of that RV park. That was one you did with the drone.
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
don't have time, but if you're curious, you can just go to our blog, Geeks on Tour blog, click on our maps, and and explore. All right. So that's the main reason that we use maps, but that's not the only reason. Oh, I want to make one now. Well, I'm going to skip ahead. Other uses for maps. Anybody into genealogy? You can make a map of your ancestors' history of where they came from and where they went when they got here or wherever. You can also make a map just of special places. So for example, we have visited every official presidential museum in the United States. That's just one of our goals in traveling around the country. And so we made a map of that. And each of these links, each of these markers have photos of us at that presidential museum. You can just start planning your dream trip, like this one. Or you can just have a map for reference. You can get points of interest files and bring them all into a map. Okay, and we'll show you a little bit more of that, but first, I have to do some live. I'm going to create a map right now and show you how it's done. So step one, you go to mymaps.google.com. This is all 100% free. It is 100% web-based. There's nothing that you download. This can be done on any device that has a web browser. Windows, Mac, iPad, as long as you can get to a web browser and go to mymaps.google.com. The only thing that's required is a Google account. It has to have a place to store all the maps you create. So your Google account, you must be logged in. You'll see your little account button over in the top right. I'm going to create a new map. And I'm going to start planning 2021. So where it says untitled map, I'm going to click on the untitled and I'm going to type 2021 travels. Where we're going in 2021 and save that. Now, I know we are booked, assuming it doesn't get canceled, but we are booked for an RV rally in March in Perry, Georgia. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the search bar at the top and type Perry, Georgia. And it should zoom me in there. What happened? Perry, Georgia. Maybe I need to have a comma.
Yeah.
It usually just goes right there. All right, who's the jinx?
That would be me.
There, Perry, Florida? No, Perry, Georgia.
They must have moved it.
There we go. Perry, Georgia. All right, something just got a little slow. I don't know. And there it is, Georgia National Fairgrounds. So the marker that Google takes me to is the city center of Perry, Georgia. Well, no, I know that this rally is going to be taking place at the fairgrounds. So now that I'm here, I'll just click on this little tool to add my own marker right at the fairgrounds. And I'll say FMCA rally, and I'm going to put the date right in the heading so it's easy for me to, and that's March 10 to 14. And I click save. Now you do have to, whenever you're editing one of these markers, you do need to save that. But the overall map is being saved as you go automatically. You do not have to worry about remembering to save your map. So there's our FMCA rally in March. Next one is in Gillette, Wyoming. So I'm going to search for Gillette, Wyoming, and there it's popping right up. Very good. Gillette, Wyoming. But once again, this is for an RV rally, and it is not being held in the city center of Gillette. It's being held at the Camplex. So I click the little marker, I drop it off there, and I say FMCA rally, and this one is July 7 through 10. All right, so you're getting the idea. It's really, really very easy. It's so easy to make these markers. But now let's say that I want that marker to look, I don't want it just to be the blue teardrop. Well, you click right here where it says individual styles. And this is where I'm going to tell it to give me a sequence of numbers. So because I added that one second, it shows up as a number 2. And if I wanted to change that, I could just drag the order and they would change. All right. How about I want to look at this map and see where else we can go. I mean, that is really what we're booked for. We are booked for March in Perry, Georgia, and July in Gillette, Wyoming. There's a lot of space in between there. Might your club be on our route? You're in Sterling, Michigan, right?
Sterling Heights.
Sterling Heights, okay. So I'm going to search for Sterling Heights, Michigan. See if it will come up.
Are you spelling it right?
Yeah, it's an internet, you know, it's just being laggy here once it starts. Well, I know you're not far from Detroit. Let's see if it does that any easier.
I think you spelled that wrong.
No.
No, she's got it right.
Okay. I can't see.
All right. Well, I don't know why it's stubborn there, but I can find it, you know. Oh, there we go. See, it was just being slow. It was just being slow. Our systems are doing a lot right now. So let's see. You're north. I'll bet you it'll get there now. No, still not. All right. Let me zoom out a little bit more. It's just really going slow. Come on. All right. Well, I'm going to have to pretend you're in Detroit just for the
Or you'll all just have to move. That's
just for the
you can do that,
sake
can't
of
you?
time here.
No problem.
I know you're actually north of Detroit, so I'm just going to stick a marker right here and say
Hope for the best.
Sterling. Now you're just Sterling Computer Club, right? Or is
Sterling
it
Heights Computer Club.
Club.
Sterling Heights Computer Club. All right.
There it is.
But now,
Up at the
now
top.
there it is. Okay.
Right
So
by
now
your
can
arrow.
now I can just move. I can just drag it now. So I see Sterling Heights. Now, if we were actually going to go there, I would get the address of where you're meeting and I would put it in there exact. But just for it to be on my map to give me the idea that maybe we could go there, I think this is good enough. But you are not an RV rally. So I'm giving that layer a name. So see, you are now under RV rallies, and no, I need to make a new layer. And I'll call that computer clubs. Add a layer. Just being slow. See how it says saving up here? That's where it's automatically saving everything I do.
Looked like it finished.
Okay, so now I have a new untitled layer. I'll call it Computer Clubs. In 2019, we went to what? Half a dozen computer clubs in Ohio, APCUG computer clubs in Ohio. So, and that's great. We love visiting y'all. Now I can just drag this from RV rallies down to computer clubs. Can be a little tricky. There, I got it. And I could change the color. You know, let's make it orange. All right. So there's lots more, but that's all I'm going to do right now. But now I can see, all right, well, you could be on the way if we go straight up and then over. But we'll have to see what else comes up for this summer. And now I don't have to save. I can just be done. I can close that tab. If I ever want to go back to that map, I go to mymaps.google.com, and there it is, 2021 travels. And if I wanted to share this with you or anybody, I can just click on share. I would enable link sharing and then copy. So that link, if I sent this link to you, you'd click on that link and you'd see my map. You wouldn't be able to add anything to it. It's my map, but you'd be able to see it.
And follow along.
And follow along, yes. All right, any questions on that?
If you link,
I don't see any in the,
yeah, if you link, like as you just said, I can't make a copy of your map for my own use in my own Gmail, Google account. Is that correct? If I wanted to use your map for my own purposes, like using yours as a template, for example, because I want to do some of the same things you've been doing, or you're planning on doing, you may be sending it out to a bunch of people who are going to meet you at some of these places, but they may want to add other stops in the meantime.
right. Well, in the share, I think there used to be, but it doesn't look like it's there anymore, a way to collaborate. Yeah, so with just what I've shown you with the link, no, but I could make a copy and I could send you the copy and you could, yeah, great question. I'm not sure.
So that copy you're talking about, that I could use to create my own map as a starting point. You think?
I would think so, yes. Or probably the best would be to export it, would be to export the data, export to KML or KMZ, and then I send you that KML file and you just import it into the map. I think that would be the best way.
Okay.
And you'll see that import in just a minute. Okay. Anything else?
As you're traveling in your car or RV, as the case may be, and you don't have internet connection for your laptop in the car, is there any way that when you are at the hotel or wherever home, you can export this and then use it on the laptop independent of the internet?
No, or not that I know of anyway. This is strictly web-based. Now,
You might be able to.
once you bring it into Google Maps, no, you can save a Google Map section to be worked on offline. But I think that's just the Google Map information, not your layer. Great questions.
Write that down.
I got to write that down.
She'll make a video on it, and we'll work on that.
Sharing. That's one, and then offline. Yeah. I'm pretty sure the answer to your question is no.
Could you print it as a PDF file and save it to your laptop?
Print it as a PDF file.
Yes.
also, I don't know. When I want to see it, I just take a screenshot. I mean, you know, I take a screenshot of it, but that won't give you any of the information.
Yeah.
Now, the KML file, though, then you can bring that into a spreadsheet,
Or maybe even a different GPS mapping software.
a different software. Yeah.
One that does work offline, and just bring them in as points of interest.
Yeah.
So that's one way you could do it.
Okay. So just back to remind you, you could use this for ancestry, special places, or like say you have a friend coming to town and you want to send them a map of all your favorite restaurants. You could do that this way. Dreaming. Okay, now this reference one, this is cool. We've used the term a couple times, points of interest. So all of the national parks in the country would be a points of interest data file. All of one of my favorites, all the hot springs, you can find a points of interest data file with all the hot springs, and you can bring them into your map. This example is a points of interest file for special campgrounds called Passport America, and we have a little video on this. Hi, there's School of Geeks on Tour, and this show video is about using Google My Maps and importing a POI dataset. POI stands for Points of Interest. First, you need to be able to find and get a POI dataset. There are several sources for them, but I'm using a website called poifactory.com. You do need to create an account. It's free. And then I used their search field to get Passport America. That's a discount campground membership system that we belong to, and I want to get all of those parks into my map. So you click on download the CSV, because I'm not using a TomTom GPS device. I want just a text file, which is CSV, and an Excel program can open a CSV file. So let's go take a look at it. So I've opened Excel, and I need to go find the spreadsheet, the CSV file that I downloaded. And notice over here, you have to make sure that instead of Excel files, you're looking for text files. And there it is, POI Factory, Passport America. And here's what it looks like. The first two columns are the latitude and longitude, or vice versa, and we'll deal with that. And then the name of the park and the address and phone number. I'm going to start by using the same custom map, the same My Map that we used in the previous lesson, the one called Chris's Florida. And there are the markers that came in from our spreadsheet on RV parks in Florida. And notice there is no place now that says import. That's because it's a new layer. It needs to be a new layer. So you click on Add Layer. Now you see the import link. And select a file from your computer. I need to know where it is and what I called it. I started it with POI Factory and Passport America. All right, now it needs to know which columns include the data for locating it. Well, we need those first two columns, but then you need to specify which it is. Is it latitude or is it longitude? And I'm not sure, so I'm just going to pick one. I'm going to say the first one looks like latitude to me, and the second one looks like longitude. And if that's wrong, it'll be obvious and we can fix it. And continue, and then what column is the title of the park? It's that one. And I obviously did the latitude and longitude wrong, because I don't think these RV parks are in Antarctica. So what you do is you delete that layer, the three dots next to the layer name, and delete this layer and delete it. Now we'd have to try that again. Add a layer, and import. Find the file. And see if I can remember which way I did it last time. Now, I said that looked like latitude, so that was obviously wrong. That must be longitude. Continue. And the name of the park, and finish. And that looks better. They're all in the United States. Okay. Now, one more issue though. I can't tell the difference between the markers that were for the parks that I imported from my Florida list or the Passport America. So I want the icon for the Passport America to be different. Now I can go in here. If you hover your mouse over where it says all items and you see this little paint bucket, click on that and you'll get your options. Now, if it's okay with you, you can just change the shape and change the color. But I would like it to actually be the icon that represents Passport America. And to do that, I need to click on more icons. And I want a custom icon. So here where add an icon, you need a URL for the actual icon. Well, back on the POI factory, here is the icon. And all I need, I could either download that and then, but it has to be on the web somewhere. So I'm just gonna do a shortcut, right click on the icon and copy the image URL, the address on the web. Paste that into the place for the special icon. Click Add Icon. And OK. Now you see that all of the data points that are Passport America have a little Passport America logo, and the ones that I had entered before still have the straight red marker. Notice also, what if I don't want to see them right now? I can just uncheck this little box over on the layer and all the Passport America parks go away. Anytime I want to see them, just check the box again. And that is how you import a data set, a POI set, into your custom map. Can be really, really powerful. You know, if you have sets of map location data that you want to see, just bring them all in. And then with just turning on and off a layer, you can see or not see the items that you want to reference. Any questions at this point?
Oh, it's pretty cool.
Just one more thing to show you. Yeah.
Just saying, it's pretty impressive. It's pretty cool.
Good.
It is.
Good.
It is.
Yes, it is. If you travel, and one thing I didn't show, you know, the whole world is in there. It's not just the United States. I mean, we've mapped our visits to Australia and to Italy too are all on our maps. So last thing.
That gives me an idea of taking the slide sets I have from the last 40 years and trying to recollect the trips that I took and combine them into individual maps in my spare time.
It's
when I'm not building.
That would be a lot of fun.
Right. Yeah. In your spare time.
Right.
So I mentioned sharing. And this is just an example. You know, we've taught this to different groups at RV rallies around the country. And one person told me that he uses it as he is RVing around for his family to know where he is, you know, without having to call him. This is all the markers that he was going to do for the whole year. The red ones mean he's already been there, and the stars are the places where he's going. And if a family member, and he shares this with his family. So if a family member wants to contact or wants to surprise him and show up somewhere, they can find out where he's going to be in the stars. Okay. Mobile devices. As I said, there is, don't try. Don't try to create a map on a mobile device. The computer is really what you need for that. But there is an app on the Android and you can add markers. So if you've made your map and you're in the car now and you realize there's one other place that you want added to your map, you can do it with the Android app. With the iOS, no, there is no app, but you can go to mymaps.google.com. But here's where the mobile comes in handy. So we have our 2021 plans now. Now we are in the RV and we're ready to go. The My Maps itself does not do navigation. But what you do is you open up the Google Maps on your mobile device, bring in your My Map, and now you can see your markers and navigate. So let me show you that. This works exactly the same on an Android device or on an iPhone as long as you have Google Maps. So this is my Samsung Android device. And here is just Google Maps. And explore, Google Maps now has these buttons down at the bottom. I'm getting ready to teach new classes on all the new options with Google Maps. The one special one is this button called Saved. So if you tap on Saved, you can save individual places on Google Maps, just kind of one set of markers. But you can also, if you scroll down to the bottom, you will see Maps. You say, what do you mean? I'm in Google Maps. What more maps can there be? Your maps, the ones that you made with My Maps. You tap on Maps. Oh, gee, I forgot to mention, I think everything I've covered is in the handout that Don sent out to you all. I'm pretty sure. And at the end, it even tells you how you can watch all of our videos on it. All right. So that just came to my mind. So here is my 2021 travels. When I tap on that, looky there. The markers that I created just while you were watching for our 2021 travels are now showing up on my Google Maps. There is our first stop in Perry, Georgia. There's our second stop, and there's a want to go in Sterling Heights, Michigan. So what I can do now that this spot is on my Google Maps, I can tap on it, tap directions, and from wherever I am, which right now is home, and I can, no, I didn't mean, I actually have home set up somewhere slightly different. So directions, and from, I need to say from my location. And it gives me the directions and I can start navigating.
Head east.
So I'm navigating to a marker that was on my Google My Maps. Now, if you want to stop that, first of all, I want to stop the navigation and I want to stop that. Now, if I want to get rid of those markers, I no longer want my 2021 travels to be overlaid on my Google Maps. That's this button right here, which is called Layers. And there it is. There's 2021 travels is right there. If I just tap that, they go away. So to get them, you go to Saved and Maps, choose the map you want to be showing up. To turn them off, well, the Layers is one way, view map legend and close is another way. All right. And so any questions now?
Cool.
All right. Yes. I want. Is Phil starting to say something? Or
No, I was not. I was looking at my
Oh,
Google
okay,
Maps
okay.
on my phone.
Oh, okay, okay. I
I
encourage you to read through the handout. And specifically, at the very top of the handout, it says to view the playlist of our videos, you go to geeksontour.com, tutorial videos, guides and playlists. So I want to show you that. So if you go to geeksontour.com, that's us. This is our website. And then the menu item called tutorials, and then guides and playlists. If you click there, then under playlist, the first one is map making with Google My Maps. And here are both of the videos that I showed you during this presentation tonight, plus several more. You know, if you want to learn how to use Google My Maps, it's all here. Most of them are our normal 4 to 7 minute short tutorial videos. But then we are known for doing a live YouTube show called What Does This Button Do? And they're nearly an hour each. And the last 3 entries in this playlist are 3 of our button shows where we went all through using Google My Maps. So that's right on your handout. Also on your handout, I highly recommend signing up for our free e-newsletter. And our latest, if you are already signed up, you probably got just a day or two ago, our January newsletter. And in the January newsletter, there is an article about Google My Maps, plus a lot of other things. But there is make a map for your 2021 travel plans. And that's all on our website. Our website is chock full.
Chock-a-block.
Chock full of all sorts of things. And I think now it's probably most of it is free. But if you want to be sure that you're getting all the benefits of geeksontour.com, we have a membership that is $58 yearly. And on your handout, there is a coupon code for your club to get 10% off. And can I do review questions? I'm going to do review questions. I like to see if you learn something.
Well, did you learn something?
by the way,
Yeah.
probably a dumb question, but I presume that this My Maps works around the world, right? I mean, I can use it for Europe, Asia, the whole works, right? Okay.
Yes. Everywhere that Google Maps has data, you can make your own map for that place.
Pretty much everywhere.
And that means everywhere. Yep.
Pretty amazing how they've done that, isn't it? Okay. So the only requirement for making your map is to have what kind of account?
Google.
Email.
Google account. Yep. That's
All right.
all. That's the only requirement is to have a Google account.
All right. We recommend making your maps using Google what maps?
My.
My Maps.
Okay. True or false? All map markers are blue teardrop icons.
We started out that way.
False.
I-
They start out that way. Yes.
Thank-
You
thanks
can
for my
make them
knowledge.
be anything you want.
Okay. Markers can be visible or not based on groups called A, categories, B, layers, C, folders, or D, albums.
Layers.
Layers.
B, layers.
Okay. So in order to navigate to a marker in your map, you must A, have the My Maps app, B, use Waze, C, it can't be done, or D, open your map within Google Maps app.
D. You need to use Google Maps on a mobile device and then bring in your My Map.
Okay, true or false? You must use a computer to make or edit a map.
False.
Pretty much true. I have been known to use an iPad, but you still have, there's no app. You go to a browser, but it's painful. You know, I say you need a computer.
But you can do it on
Okay.
Android, you said, right? You did say you could do it on
The
Android.
Android does have the My Maps app, but I would not create
because
a map
just
on
so-
there.
just because it's so slow. It'll take forever.
And it's just so tiny, yeah. Well, and no, and it doesn't have all the features. You can add markers, but you can't draw lines, and I didn't even show you that. You can't draw lines, you can't do routes, you can't add photos, you can't do a lot of stuff on the Android app that you can do on the browser version.
Oh, well, okay. I was asking about lines earlier, connecting one dot to another, etc. Is it?
Uh-huh.
Do you just for drawing lines between locations in My Maps? Do you just select two locations and say draw map, or do you stretch a map from one place to another, or how does that work?
Yeah, there's two ways. I can show you that real quick. So there's two tools up here, one for drawing lines and one for directions. So if I just choose draw a line and I say add a line, I can just draw a line wherever I want, just each place I click, so you can just draw a line. But, and I'm going to delete that. If you want a line drawn along roads, then you choose this tool and it opens up a whole new layer. And this is a special layer, a driving route layer, and you can only have 10 destinations. So in destination A, I can click on that marker, and then
Can
in
you do that full
destination,
screen? Could you put
Oh,
that up
here.
full screen so we can see it?
Yeah, hang on. Yep, I sure can.
There we
Sorry.
go.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
so now under B, I can click on that one, and then I can add a destination and click on that one, and you see how it is drawn along roads now. But you can't navigate along those roads. You can only navigate to a destination. So I really don't care much for using that feature, but that's how you do it.
Well, that would be cool if you could, because it would almost be like a AAA triptych type of mapping, and
Right.
that would be pretty
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah. Well, you can get a triptych, if I click on this little three dots here next to the directions layer, I can get step-by-step directions. And then I can print that out,
Okay, all right.
so this does give me step-by-step directions. And you can export this and import it into something else, import it into your GPS or something.
Okay, that'll be useful.
But that's really not the purpose of my maps is for planning and remembering. It's really not. There are better tools for navigating, but it can be done.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty neat.
Well, that's it for us. If there aren't any more questions, I guess we can just leave this open for you guys to finish up. I'm Jim.
I'm Chris.
And we're Geeks,
Geeks
on
on
Tour. Thank for being here.
Thank
Great.
you.
All right.
Thank you very much. That's good.
Very
Thank you.
interesting.
Thank you so much.